What's up, guys? Nethervvoid here with SPACECOM, episode 0, because I'm going to do a series on this bad boy. SPACECOM, Tactical Space Command. This is a minimalist, real-time space strategy game. It's a pretty cool game. It's made by the guys from 11-Bit Studios. I was given a copy of this to test out. Actually, I had already seen some YouTube videos on it and thought it was pretty cool. It's definitely a real-time game, and I'm not going to show you too much into it. I'm going to start setting up the first episode of my series here, but I'm going to go over, as I always do, the pros and cons of the game before we get started. And the difference with this series is going to be there are a bunch of single-player missions to kind of teach you how to play the game. I've already gone through all of them, and I've recorded all of this into 30-minute segments. I've got 9 episodes of it, all the way through the 13 missions here, and that's going to kind of teach you how to play the game and see and tell you if you like this game or not. Also, the developer has given me 2 extra keys to give away. I will be doing that when I start my normal season after 2 weeks of showing you these missions here, so that you know whether or not you like this game, and I'll come up with some kind of contest or something at that time. So you're gonna have to wait 2 weeks to get the keys. Also, if there's a lot of interest, I want to see how many likes we get on this video. I'll be asking the developer for maybe a couple more keys. I have 2 to give away right now, and I could probably request another 2 or something like that, and I'm sure they'll give those keys away. They'll help me give keys away to their game. So if we can get at least 100 likes on this thing, I'll ask for 2 more. If we don't get 100 likes on episode 0, there's no point in me asking because there's not enough interest. So anyway, back. That's pretty much the gist of this game. It's $15 on Steam right now, plus there's also a free demo if you want to try it out at no cost, and I think for some reason the sound is really high. Maybe it just sounds high to me. Let's put the music down a little bit. Okay, so we'll talk about the cool things in a second. Let's do Skirmish, which is against the AI, and we'll just look at the interface here a little bit. I think they also have, if you're looking at options here, 1920 by 1080 full screen, which I'm actually running in window mode right now. A couple of sound options. Not a lot of options here, but personally, I don't need a lot of options. I'm not the kind of a guy who needs. I really just care about resolution, full screen, and music volumes, or sound volumes. That's usually all I care about. So they've got all that. It's pretty simple. And then they have a language selector here, which is kind of cool. Restart to apply. So if you want to change your language, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat there. Shortcuts, which I don't use, but you can use them if you want. They're probably a good idea to use these shortcuts if you actually want to play this game a lot, because since it's real time, it does depend on kind of split-second decisions and timings and things like that. I use the mouse for everything, but we'll see. Okay, your mileage may vary. Depends on how much you get into this game. So there's also a multiplayer, where I don't think there's anybody in the queue right now. This game just came out a little bit ago, and they're still trying to pump this game, so I don't think there are a lot of people in the queue right now. But it's like 3 o'clock on a Friday or something, so I don't know. Anyway, Skirmish is the single-player version, and you know me, I always like to play single-player. I'm going to bump this up to medium. I don't know how difficult the missions were compared to this, but I'm just going to go with this. Hopefully it's the same difficulty level. I usually I have in the past tried to do my strategy stuff on easy just to make sure I don't get my ass kicked like in 2 seconds, but I'm just going to restart if I get my butt kicked too quick. Another cool thing you can do is change maps. There are a certain amount of maps, and they're coming out with new maps all the time. I think they've come out with 2 new maps recently. Since I was just doing missions, I didn't really care too much about the maps, but it's kind of neat that they're coming out with new maps all the time. So you can see 2 players, 4 players, 3 players, different sizes of maps here. That's kind of neat. Again, it's a relatively cheap game, and it's minimalistic, so while, yes, it's $15, I think you're getting $15 worth of development, which is it's fine. I mean, it's really going to be whether or not you like the style of game. So, again, we need to pump these guys up, back up to where we were. Now, let's see how hard. So, it goes up to Expert. Okay, so we're at the medium level here. I'm just going to go with Cartwheel Nebula. I have no idea. I've never even played this map. So, we're going to start the game. I'm sure it's going to generate. Okay, so here we go. We've generated destroy or capture enemy hub system. Okay. So you can see, so the way this works, I'm going to pause it real quick because time is ticking down immediately. It's not turn-based. This is my home base where the star is. So this is an enemy home base right here. And there's one here. right? White indicates independent systems. Okay, these are each star systems. This looks a lot like a space strategy game if you've ever seen one, a Space 4X game. And these are connections. This is how you get from star to star. So I can get to this star from here, but I can't cut across and get to this star because there's no linkage. Okay, there's no way in the game to do that. Well, yeah, let's put that in that. Okay, so I just remembered something I wanted to talk about. So there's no way to cross over right here. Okay, so you can only go on these lines here. That's pretty simple. There are 3 ship types, which we will talk about as we go through the missions. There are invader ships that help you take over systems. Siege fleets, so invader fleets will help you take over systems. Siege fleets will help you destroy systems so that nobody can ever use that system again. And there are battle fleets which only fight other ships, okay, and fight in space. So that's one thing to know for right off the bat. There are 3 different kinds of systems. Well, are really technically 4. There's the base. That's kind of obvious with the star. It doesn't have any special abilities or anything. It's just your base. If it gets captured, I think you lose. I think that's how it works. Again, I've never played in the single player. We're going to be doing that throughout this series. This is a resource system. You can see by the little pentagon here, although it's not a correct pentagon in a sense that it doesn't have 5 equal sides, it is still a pentagon shape. Pretty sure, unless it has a rounded bottom, it doesn't really matter. This is a resource system. Resource systems are used, actually, yeah, there are 5 systems, 5 types of systems, actually. Resource systems send resources to build ships and other things. So, you can't really see it, but right behind here, let's just unpause real quick. That little cog icon signifies a ship manufacturing system. So you can build new invader fleets there, new siege fleets, or new battle fleets there. And in each system, you can build a shield, which will absorb some damage from anybody fighting in space before it actually starts hitting your ships. You can also build a planetary defense or a system defense, which will actually fire just like a ship. It's immobile, and it fires pretty fast and hits pretty hard. And then you can also purchase land units, which are on these planets. You can see this system has 2 planets. This has 3. This has 4. It's pretty simple. The colored-in planets have a ground force on them, and you can only have 1 ground force per planet. So this system has 2 ground forces. Each invasion fleet is considered 1 ground force. So in order to take over this system, if I send 2 invasion fleets in, it's going to be an even fight. Okay? So that's one thing to know. I'm going to probably want to send 3 or more invasion fleets to take this system because it has 2 ground forces. Okay? And again, don't get too worried about the mechanics right now. You're going to hopefully watch the next 9 episodes are going to be all about mechanics and how to play the game and everything, because we're going to go through all the single player missions and stuff. So just kind of giving you a little bit about how the game works. So those are 3 of the different system types. The 4th system type, which I don't have one of these, it's actually independent right here. If you zoom in on the video, you can see it's a wrench icon. That's a repair system. Any ships you park in that system will slowly repair themselves, which is kind of nice. This game has a lot of strategy, is based off of attrition, right? The less ships you lose per fight, and the more ships you can make your enemy lose, the more ground you can gain on your enemy, because they're rebuilding ships as you're advancing, because you didn't lose any ships. So the repair systems are very, very coveted. So I'm sure we're going to be fighting over this system quite a lot. Me and this yellow guy or orange guy are going to be fighting over this system quite frequently, I'm sure. I really am going to want that system and hold that system. So it's just something to know. Also, let's see. So let's talk about what I like about this game. And I'm really not going to be able to play while I'm chatting. You're just going to have to look at the next couple of episodes. In fact, I'll make this episode a little short so that I don't take too much time, since I'm not really doing anything. But the cool things I think about this game is it's real-time, yet it's not overstimulating and uber twitchy like a lot of other games. A lot of real-time games are just kind of twitchy, and you have to click all over the place and, micromanage your fleets, or your armies and all this stuff, and it's really kind of a pain. I don't really like that kind of a game. I really have a hard time with that kind of game. So actually, what I can do, we'll just do this real quick. I'm going to go in here and select 2 invaders and just send them to this system on a right-click. So I left-click to select them, and then right-clicked to send them. I'm going to send this guy up to here, and I'm going to send 2 guys over to here to start taking these resource ones. So I'm also going to start building more battle fleets. Really, battle fleets are what kind of hold the sky for you. So this guy's building, and you'll see little resource icons, little resource ships start coming from this system. You can see there's one. Resource ship is going to come in here and start building, right? I've got a siege unit. I'll send it this way, and I'll send another invader this way. You can see, okay, the yellow guy's invading here. So we're all going to have some fights here, I'm sure. So here's the production queue. I can queue up to 7 items. And what happens here is, as resources come in, you can see the yellow is them coming in, and the blue is the system actually building the object. So you could have tons of resources coming in, and it still takes the same amount of time to build the object. That's why you might want to have more than one. So let's go in here and invade. So we're invading there. Let's invade here as well. So let's pause it, because I really need to concentrate. So what that means is you might want to have more than one shipbuilding system, because you've got so many resources flying around that you're queuing up a lot of resources, but the systems can't build those things fast enough. Okay, so you need to spread that the production out a little bit. Again, that's probably all I'm going to show you in these, because it really does take a lot of real-time games, take a lot of active processing. So I really can't talk about the game and play and actually do well. So other things I like, the game looks really terrific for being so simple. I really like the simple icons. They're very easy to see. I do wish that the symbols on the systems, what type of system it is, was bigger, because as you're scrolling around and everything, it's really about noticing things quickly, and so those icons, if they were a little bit larger, would be more obvious for what kind of system it is. Would be really nice. I love the map so far. There are a lot of chokeholds and strategy on what system to take, where you need a blockade. Like over here, if you look at this orange system, I really want to take that orange system right there and then set up like a shield and a bunch of fleets right there, because you can't get through. That's the only way through this point, right? That's a chokehold, so I want to take that, and he took it immediately. I probably should have done that. Of course, it's right next to his base, so of course he's gonna be defending that really heavily. But that's a really nice chokehold system. Over here, again, there's another chokehold. That's awesome, except we've got a path through here. So it looks like that's a chokehold, at least for this side. And you really have to start strategizing. I think it's going to be this, and that, for the 3 chokeholds to kind of lock this system off, this group of stars, and really produce units and stuff, and just kind of build up some attrition a little bit. So again, that's where I like the strategy of the maps, which is kind of neat. And I do like how this game is different, that it doesn't have warping. I don't know if you know about Endless Space. It's another 4X turn-based strategy game. The link should be up in the top to check that series out. It's a different game made by a different company, the company called Amplitude. But later in the game, you can warp between stars. You don't need paths between stars, and so it really takes away the strategy of the game. You can kind of warp anywhere in the whole map you want at the end of the game in Endless Space. I don't like that, because then you can't choke off areas and stuff, which I really think is a great thing for strategy type games. So yeah, I love the maps. Multiplayer seems like it'll be a blast, because again, it's a very active game. There's not a lot of stuff to watch, so I think anybody can play this game and be relatively proficient at it. So it won't be like you've got you and your friends, you and 2 friends, and you're like this uber StarCraft player, and they suck, so you can't even play together because you just wipe them out. Like, it's no fun at all, right? This game, I think, is minimalist enough that everybody should be fairly competitive, and it's really all about learning the map, and learning the strategic chokeholds on the map. It's really what it would be about, I think, in my opinion, in the multiplayer. Really in any game type, but multiplayer specifically. What I did notice about this game is I definitely got just one more turn syndrome. Playing this game a lot, like I did, I had I can always tell when I'm really enjoying a game when I'm running over the time. Because I have a timer up with Audacity. It tells me how long I've been recording, and sometimes I'll go past it, and that's how I can tell I'm really liking the game. And that happens in this game to me. So I know I was loving the crap out of this game, and it's a lot of fun, and sometimes it feels like the missions were over a little bit early, but that's fine. The missions are there to teach you the game, and then you can get into larger games like I'm about to show you right here. So, things I don't really like about the game, let's get into the uncool factors of the game here, might become boring rather quickly with the lack of complexity. It is simple, which is great for getting into the game easily and then getting your friends involved easily, but it's also a detriment because I think it won't take that long for me to get bored of this game because there isn't a lot of different things to do. Now, if they come up with a lot of weird maps situations, that could keep it interesting. And again, like I said, they are coming out with new maps quite frequently. I've already seen, I think, 2 map updates, and I've only had the game a couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks at the most. So that's kind of neat. But there's really not a lot of complexity in the game itself. I think the complexity comes from the maps, and so that could be a detrimental factor in the future. I don't know how long this game will be playable and how much replayability it has. Luckily, it's $15. I mean, $15, that's two or three Starbucks, for this game. And that seems pretty. It's a movie ticket. That's pretty cheap, in my opinion. 3 gallons of gas, 4 gallons of gas, depending on where you live. So anyway, I wish I could build bases in other systems. The bases are locked in, and you can't move them. You can't build like resource base anywhere. You can't build shipyards anywhere. You can't build those repair systems. You can't build that stuff. It's laid out in the map, and that's what you get. So this repair system here I can never build another one. This is where it's going to be, and that's it. It would be nice to be able to build those somewhere, even if it took like a monumental amount of resources, which would be totally fine. I think that would be cool to kind of, for one thing, so that people don't know the map so well that there's one strategy to beat the map. Because if you can build, change the systems like that, then people don't know the map strategy, and it kind of keeps people on their toes. Lastly, it does not have a tech tree, which, yes, it keeps it simple, but again, it takes away from the complexity and replayability of the game. And so this is really not a con. It's a pro and a con in a sense. The pro being you don't have to learn the tech tree to be good at the game. You can just jump in the game and start playing most of the time. If you want to play the missions, it's a lot like what I did. You don't even need to play that many to actually get the gist of the game. It's pretty easy. But, again, replayability, without a tech tree, it makes everybody more similar, which makes this better for, like, esports type of gaming, because everybody's on the same level footing, right? You can't really out-tech somebody and then beat them down with your tech. But at the same time, again, it really cuts down on the strategies, the different strategic paths on each map, right? Like with StarCraft, you might get Lost Temple or something, and with Protoss, there's a bunch of different builds with Protoss, and so it's not just the same Protoss every time. In this game, there isn't even different races, so it's like it's the same every time. If you spawn in the same spot every time, the game will be relatively the same. So yeah, again, I don't know. What you think about that is really up to you. I really think you should just try the game, check it out, watch the next 9 episodes, see if you like it, check it out, buy it. Again, $15 on Steam. It just came out like a month or 2 ago. It's still a fun game. I'm still having a blast with it, and I'm sure my playthrough, I'll have a blast the whole time. I'm not sure how many games I'm going to play, because I know the games are shorter than, like, Endless Legend or Endless Space. Those games, took me, like, I don't know, what I have, 40 episodes of Endless Space at 20 minutes apiece, and, like, 18 episodes of Endless Legend at 30 minutes apiece, so that's 9 hours. These games are not going to be nearly that long. So anyway, let me know what you think. This video was a little bit long for actually what I wanted to do in it, and you're just kind of looking at a screen here. Tell me what you think about this game, and watch the next 9 episodes where I actually go into the game and show you the mechanics. And as always, guys, stay frosty.